Welcome back for part 14 of the Markidini crochet along. This week we're going to be working blocks 53, 54, 55, and 56. So to start block 53, you'll want to join at the bottom of block 49, that vertical line that's beside, and chain 30. So you'll just join in back of the vertical line. I've started my chain with 10. You'll want to chain 30, and picking up in the back bumps, you will pick up the 30 loops plus the loop on your hook, and your connection will give you 32 loops on your hook. We'll be working some cables again for this block and sort of making a V style of cable stitch, 3 columns on this block. So if you look at the chart, similar to what we've worked before for cables, we'll have our foundation row, straight return, and then we'll use purl stitches and knit stitches. And you can either work the cables in the forward pass as shown previously or in the return pass. So you can just follow the chart through to work this square for 12 rows. You will bind off at the end and work the horizontal line, 3 rows of a horizontal line on top. Block 54, again we'll use cables, sort of making this zigzag type of cable on that block. So you will start on the horizontal line you made. You're going to want to count over 13 loops and put a stitch marker on the 13th loop, You will join in back and pick up 13 loops, and once you've made the connection, you'll have 15 loops on your hook. You'll also want to mark the 17th stitch over so you know where to make the vertical line. So again, you'll be using purl stitches and knit stitches to create these cables. Most of the cables are 1 over 1 stitches. So you can go ahead and work this according to the chart as we've shown before as well. You will bind off at the end and work the vertical line beside 27 rows. Block 55, you will join on your far edge on top of block 53. Pick up the 13 loops across and make the connection for 15 loops on your hook. We're going to be using some popcorn stitches again to make this design here. Once you've worked your foundation row and done the regular return pass, for row 2 you'll do 6 TSS and knit stitch 6 TSS. Regular return pass, and you'll repeat that for row 3. Then I'm going to help you with the next few rows as we continue through this. So we're going to do the 6 TSS, and then remember this gray sort of colored square on the chart is we skip a stitch and pick up in the 6, and then on the return we need to chain 1 where we skip that stitch. So let's do row 4 together. So 6 TSS, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We'll skip this next stitch, 6 TSS, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We'll make our connection. We'll take off those 6 TSS, that's 3, 4, 5, and 6, and this is where we skipped a stitch. We're going to make the chain 1 and then take off the remaining stitches. And then for row 5 we'll pick up those 6 TSS again. And then this time we want to pick up a loop in the hole and then pick up the remaining 6 TSS. Now for the return pass on this one, we are going to be making a chain 1 on either side of this loop where we picked up last time. And then to compensate for that extra space, we'll make a 2 together at the beginning and the end of this row. So we'll take off the border loop and then we'll do the 2 together stitch. We'll take off the 4 loops, 1, 2, 3, 4. Make a chain 1, take off that loop we picked up in the hole, chain 1, take off 4 loops, 1, 2, 3, 4, then we'll do the 2 together and take off our border stitch. Then for row 5, we want to pick up that first stitch, go under both loops of that 2 together to pick up our first loop, and then the next 3, 1, 2, 3, and 4. We'll pick up a loop in that chain space. We want to make a knit stitch in that center loop, pick up a loop in the chain space, and TSS in 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then pick up a loop under that both loops of the 2 together before our connection. Okay, and then on the return pass of this one, we're going to do the chain 1 just before the loop that's in the chain 1 space and just after this next loop in the chain 1 space. So we'll do that 2 together stitch again, so the border loop and 2 together stitch, and we'll take off 3 loops, 1, 2, 3. Then we'll add our chain 1, take off the middle 3 loops, add the chain 1, take off 3 loops, 1, 2, 3, ready for the 2 together stitch and the border stitch. Row 7, we'll pick up that 2 together stitch and the next 3, 1, 2, 3. Pick up a loop in that chain space, knit stitch in the next 3. Pick up a loop in the chain 1, TSS the next 3, and work that 2 together stitch and make our connection. Then we'll work the return pass. So we'll do that 2 together stitch again. Take off 2 loops, chain 1, then take off the next 5 loops, 2, 3, 4, 5, chain 1, take off 2 loops, and the 2 together stitch and the border stitch. So then we're ready to work row 8. You can see how in the middle of row 8 we have this purple square. That's the 4 double stitch popcorn. We've worked those before, but I'll help you again with that. So we got lots to think about this row with the 2 together, TSS, pick up a loop in the space, knit stitches, and popcorn, and so on. So we'll pick up the 2 together stitch and one of the next 2 stitches, 1 and 2. Pick up a loop in that chain space. We'll do 2 knit stitches, 1, 2. Then in this next stitch, we're going to insert our hook, pick up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. We'll do that for a total of 4 times. Yarn over, insert hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and then we'll want to yarn over and pull through all 4 of those loops. to make the popcorn stitch. And then we'll knit stitch in the next 2 stitches past that, and then I just poke the popcorn to the front. Pick up a loop in the chain space, TSS, the 2 together, and make our connection. Okay, so then you'll just continue to watch the return passes where we have those 2 together and the chain 1 stitches in particularly. Row 9 has 2 more popcorn. Row 10 does not have any popcorn, but when we come to the return pass, we have those 3 together stitches to watch out for, pulling through the 3 loops there. Yeah, so just watch carefully in this section. We don't have those 2 togethers at the front or the end anymore. We still have chain 1, but we're working the 3 together in the center then. And then remembering this symbol is chain 1, take the next loop off, and chain 1 through that section. Okay, so you can go ahead and work the rest of the rows. So it'll be 27 rows for this square. You'll want to make sure you do the bind off row at the end. There will not be a vertical line, but you can do the horizontal line on the top of block 55 and block 54, this horizontal line here. Then for block 56, you'll just join in back in the edge, pick up your 30 loops across, make the connection for 32 loops on your hook to start block 56. So then block 56 is this lovely flower set, and that is worked using cables that we're already familiar with. So you would just follow along the chart for this block, making your foundation row, I said, with those, picking up the 30 loops, and you'll have 32 loops on your hook, 2 rows of straight purl stitches, and then you'll start working these cables with knit stitches in the center parts of the flowers and a lot of purl stitches. So it'll be 27 rows for this block as well, and that will be part 14.